I was finally taking a break after years of grinding, 3 whole months of leave. Before I left, I even went through the trouble of notifying the HOA. I didn't want any drama about my yard or property while I was gone. I got written permission, signed and sealed. Everything was supposed to be peaceful. Welcome to Prodigy Tales. Make sure you like and subscribe for your top-notch HOA drama. But peace and HOA don't belong in the same sentence, especially with Loretta lurking around. She's one of those people who treat HOA meetings like royal court sessions. Loretta used to be president, but last year I humiliated her by exposing her shady side, fraud, misused funds, the whole ugly mess. She resigned after that, and I thought I was free of her nonsense. Before I left town, I saw her around, always watching my house like it was her personal enemy. I brushed it off, thinking she'd find someone else to annoy, if only I knew what was coming. A month into my trip, I started getting weird texts from a neighbor. "Hey, is everything okay with your place?" At first, I thought he meant my mail piling up or the lawn. I told him not to worry. Then came a second message, this time with more urgency. "You might want to call the HOA. Something strange is going on." Strange? With the HOA, that could mean anything. Maybe a passive-aggressive letter about grass height. I didn't think much of it, but something about the tone in his message made my stomach tighten. 2 weeks later, my phone rang in the middle of the night. It was the same neighbor. His voice was shaking. "You need to come back. Now. Something happened. It's about your house." My heart stopped. "What do you mean? Something happened?" There was a pause, then he sighed like he didn't know how to say it. "Just come back. It's bad. Really bad." I couldn't sleep after that call. Whatever this was, I had a bad feeling Loretta had something to do with it. The drive back into town felt like the longest of my life. Every worst-case scenario ran through my head. Burglary, vandalism, maybe a fire. But nothing could have prepared me for what I saw when I turned onto my street. Where my house once stood, there was nothing but rubble. My porch, my walls, my roof. All gone, leveled to the ground as if a tornado had passed through. For a few seconds, I couldn't breathe. My lovely home, the one I built and maintained with every ounce of pride, was nothing more than a flattened memory. I stumbled out of the car, my hands shaking. A demolition crew truck was still parked at the curb, and there, standing like a smug queen in the middle of my yard, was Loretta, clipboard in hand, smiling. "Surprised?" she asked, tilting her head. "What the hell happened to my house?" My voice cracked, half rage, half disbelief. "Oh, don't act so dramatic," she said, flipping through papers. "The HOA approved the removal. The structure wasn't up to community standards." Removal? Community standards? I was shaking now, but not from fear, pure fury. "You demolished my house without my permission. You're insane." She didn't even flinch. "We followed the proper procedures. Here's the paperwork." She shoved a crumpled stack of forms into my hand. Something about them felt off. Wrong dates, forged signatures. My name scribbled like a child wrote it. I took a step closer. "You forged these, didn't you?" Loretta's smile faltered for just a second before she snapped back into her fake confidence. "You shouldn't leave a property unattended for months. Things happen. Maybe you should have been a better neighbor." That was it. I saw red. "You think this is over? You're done? Loretta, I'll make sure of it." She just laughed like it was some kind of game. Good luck proving anything. But I didn't need luck. I needed a lawyer. I pulled out my phone, snapping photos of every single detail. The rubble, the forged papers, even the smug look on her face. If she wanted war, I was ready to burn her entire empire to the ground. The first thing I did after leaving the wreckage that used to be my home was call my lawyer, Daniel. The man didn't even let me finish explaining before he growled, "She did what? That's illegal on so many levels. I'll meet you at the site in an hour." When Daniel arrived, he stood in silence for a moment, taking in the flattened remains of my house. "This," he finally said, "is going to cost her everything. We're going to bury her in court." We started digging immediately. I handed him the stack of so-called paperwork Loretta gave me. His eyebrows shot up as he flipped through them. "These are forged. Sloppy too. Look at this. Your signature doesn't even match your driver's license." That was the first crack. The second came when we requested official HOA records. Not one single meeting had been held or vote taken about demolishing my property. The board members were shocked when we told them what Loretta had done. We never approved anything like that, the vice president said, pale as a ghost. She acted alone? Oh, yes, she acted alone. And now the entire board was ready to throw her under the bus. To make it worse for her, Daniel uncovered email chains she had forgotten to delete, arrogant little rants where she bragged to a contractor about removing an eyesore and claimed she had the board's full support. She even mocked my house, calling it a shack lowering the neighborhood's value. I couldn't believe it. This wasn't just about rules or HOA politics. This was pure revenge. She wanted to erase me because I had embarrassed her last year when I exposed her for embezzling HOA funds. This was her payback. Daniel smirked as he printed every damning piece of evidence. She's done, he said. We'll sue her for damages, fraud, illegal demolition, emotional distress, everything. And trust me, the judge is going to love this case. The more we uncovered, the more I realized Loretta's arrogance was her downfall. She didn't just break the law. She left a trail of evidence wide enough to drive a truck through, and I was going to use every bit of it. Court day arrived like a storm, and Loretta clearly didn't see it coming. She strutted into the courtroom, but her confidence melted the moment my lawyer, Daniel, stood up. He started calmly, but every question was a dagger. Miss Loretta, he said, holding her fake demolition order high for everyone to see, can you explain why this signature doesn't match the homeowner's? Or why not a single HOA board member recalls approving this? Loretta tried to fake her way through. I had verbal approval, she stammered. Daniel smirked like a wolf. Interesting. Let's move on to these emails you sent. The screen lit up with her own words, mocking my house, calling it a junkyard shack, and bragging about getting rid of it without that idiot's consent. The jury's faces twisted with disgust. Even the judge sighed. When it was my turn, I told them everything, how I'd taken leave with HOA permission, how Loretta had been thrown out for fraud before, and how this was pure revenge. She destroyed everything I built, I said, and she laughed while doing it. The verdict was brutal and beautiful. The judge ordered Loretta to pay $850,000 for rebuilding my home, covering every single cent of damage, compensate me an additional $1.2 million for emotional distress, lost property, and malicious destruction, serve 3 years in state prison for fraud, forgery, and illegal demolition. Loretta's mouth dropped. The courtroom gasped. Even the HOA board looked ashamed for ever letting her back into power. She was handcuffed on the spot, her reign of terror over in seconds. 2 months later, my house was rebuilt, bigger, brighter, and 10 times better. I even added a custom mural of a bulldozer with the words, "Try me again, Loretta." The HOA didn't dare complain. They were too busy apologizing. Standing on my new porch, coffee in hand, I realized something. Revenge is best served with a judge's gavel and a fat check. The end. Please like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think Karen got what she deserved? Comment below.